Well, you can all think of those people that were your role models. Tonight, you're the role models. Nice to have you all here. Enjoy this evening. Good project, good work. 55 minutes after Good Morning America continues in just a moment.
Travelers 50 and over save 30% at choice hotels like Quality, Comfort, Clarion, and Sleep.
After a life like mine.
Time out, Evil. Travelers 50 and over also get a free coupon book worth over $1,000 at places like Alamo, Rent-A-Car, Red Lobster, and theme parks. Okay, Evil, from the top.
After a life like mine, that's about the biggest thrill I can take.
Save 30% if you're 50 or over and get a free coupon book. Call 1-800-4CHOICE and reserve your room today.
Professional. I know what it means, and I know what it takes. It's not only being your best, but looking your best. Matrix Essentials. Now that's professional. My stylist, these products. Because let's face it, the only way to get a professional salon look is in a salon. Matrix Hair Care, hair color, perms, skin care, and cosmetics. Matrix Essentials, the professional's choice for beauty. Only in fine salons.
It's party time in Mexico, thanks to politicians like Dan Coates. Coates help Mexico by voting to fast-track legislation which sends our jobs over the border. Want to keep sending our jobs to Mexico? Then keep Dan Coates. Someone to fight for Indiana, Joe Hogsett. He opposes the Mexican Free Trade Agreement, and Hogsett will work for Indiana companies and Indiana jobs. Joe Hogsett, for us. Dan Coates, a senator Mexico can be proud of.
Cancer Day is an important tradition at Scott's. And on Wednesday, October 7th, 5% of all sales at all Scott's stores will be donated to your American Cancer Society.
More good reasons to shop Scott's. Save on fresh boneless chicken breasts, just $1.99 a pound. All varieties of Tony's Italian-style pizza, 15.3 to 17.5-ounce packages, 2 for $4.50.
At Scott's Foods, we're committed to quality, price, service, and to wiping out cancer in your lifetime.
Good Morning America is sponsored by MCI.
To Spencer now for our really quick look at the nation's weather.
Okay, Charlie, sunny in most places today around the 48 contiguous states, but the big wet spot is in the mid-Atlantic. Virginia, the Carolinas will see substantial rainfall and some strong coastal winds. That's it.
All right, those winds brought to you by Coastal. Tomorrow, President Bush will be joining us again as we turn to the issue of welfare reform. And later this week, I should mention that Governor Bill Clinton will also be joining us.
Also coming up, actress Glenn Close and Robert Kennedy Jr. They take a look at movies with an environmental message.
So for all of us in Good Morning America, take care. Have a great day. See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Joan London's wardrobe provided by Lily Rubin.
In our third year of being #1 for news and information in the morning.
Just you watch.
Just can never turn down an invitation to trouble now, can you?
Just you watch.
I'm not gonna be here waiting for you when you get back from this town.
Just you watch.
I won't let Jason be the father to my baby.
Just you watch.
This is the time for sweet revenge.
Just you watch.
Never say never to Max Holden.
One life to live.
Just you watch right here on WPTA TV, 21 Alive.
If you've been injured in an accident, call Sweeney, Pfeiffer, and Blackburn for help in settling your claim.
Sweeney, Pfeiffer, and Blackburn, attorneys for injured people.
Decorating, decorating, you can't be too sure, it can drive you insane. Decorating, decorating, you can't be too right, so remember our name, Decorating Dan.
From a simple window treatment to colors and fabrics and decor for a whole room, this is a better way to decorate.
Together we can pull it together. Just
consult your yellow pages for the Decorating Den nearest you.
They're Ku Klux Klan members, and they say they're being discriminated against. He was fired from his job. He was overcharged. And she was sexually harassed.
She would snap at me and talk to me like I was a dog.
Are hate groups and their families really getting unfair treatment?
All men are created equal. What about that?
That is the biggest lie.
You all are very racist because you really don't know what discrimination is.
Next, Sally.
Sally Jesse Raphael, Monday at 10 on 21 Alive.
Tune in for one of Fort Wayne's own stories today on Maury.
Millions of people were horrified, and the President of the United States was moved to comment on the case carjacking. Now, they don't just steal your car, they jump in your car while you're in it, throw you out at knife point, and steal your car or worse. Here's the most horrifying story of this kind that we've heard. There have been hundreds of reported crimes involving carjacking, but none as horrifying as this one. The case of Pam Basu from Savage, Maryland. Pam was driving her 22-month-old daughter to her first day of nursery school. She stopped at an intersection and encountered two gunmen who forced her out of the car with the child still in the back seat. She became entangled in the seat belts and was dragged for 2 miles by the two people stealing her car with her baby in the back seat. They finally stopped, threw the baby out of the car. The baby survives, and the mother did not. Here are the suspects: 26-year-old Rodney Eugene Solomon and 16-year-old Bernard Eric Miller. They were apprehended 90 minutes later. Do I understand that there is an increase in this kind of Lawrence Sherman? You are a criminologist. This is on the increase, is it not? Mr. Sherman, sir, this is growing in intensity. Do I understand?
The number of deaths associated with auto thefts have risen 60% since 1987, and there are a lot of other deaths that aren't being classified in those crime statistics. We don't know exactly how bad it is, but every city we go to tells us it's getting much worse.
And are you more at risk if you're in a flashy car?
That's certainly the #1 kind of car being stolen in the Washington area at gunpoint, and we've had over 300 of those crimes just this year alone.
Let me take just a moment to chat with Nita. You are Nita Seelinger. Am I pronouncing your name correctly, Mrs. Seelinger?
Sellinger.
Sellinger. You are one of the sisters of Pam, who we can only wonder about the pain this must be for you. What would you want to share with this audience following this tragedy in your family?
I have a few thoughts that I would like to share with you, if you would like me to do that.
Yes, please.
First of all, I just want everybody to understand that what I am going to share is a little bit about Pam's life, with the hope that this knowledge will help to provide an understanding of the quiet contributions that my sister made to this world. I really do not want to share today my thoughts or feelings about my sister or the event which led to my speaking to you.
I wish I had a lot of time for you to do this, Mrs. Sellinger, but you will respect the clock, and we definitely want to hear what you have to say. Please, your sister's memory is honored by the point you're about to make here. Please do.
Okay. Pam was a beautiful, happy, and a vivacious 34-year-old woman. She was a dedicated scientist and a caring mother and a loving wife. She touched the hearts of everyone that she came in contact with. Her smile was always a charming one with bright eyes, and that's how we remember her. And she brought life and fun and love to everyone that she touched. Pam and her husband were married in July of 1980. With all her accomplishments in education and career behind her after getting her doctorate, she focused her attention on starting a family. Because they had some trouble with Pam conceiving, Pam and her husband decided to pursue her motherhood through adoption. She went to India in 1990, November, and Serena, the baby, was adopted at 3 weeks of age. She gave Serena a life filled with love and opportunity, and we are going to continue that. Since the day she adopted Serena and until the day she died, Pam's life was devoted to her daughter Serena. Pam was the youngest of the 4 girls in our family and the absolute joy of our parents. Our family's loss will be felt until we and our children pass from this earth. I know she wouldn't be happy if I ended my few comments on a sad note. She'd want me to thank the hundreds of people who have shown their support and compassion. So what I would like to do is just end by reading you 2 very brief cards that we have received from people we don't know. One of them just said, "Dear Serena and Mr. Basu, I stopped by today with my children to visit and say hello. I'm a mother of 3, 35 years old, and I live in Carroll County, Maryland. I am a seamstress, and I wanted to make Serena a holiday dress. I hope she likes it as much as we do. Take good care of each other, and we will think of you often." The other card is addressed to Serena, and it just says, "You were so brave the other day that I'm sure that if your mother knew, she would have bought you something very special, like this present. If you want to come play with my little girl, you're welcome. Our daddy is a doctor, so if you get a boo-boo, he can fix it. Our family is thinking of you and your family."
I thank you very much, Mrs. Selinger, for sharing your own personal family thoughts with us. I repeat that this criminal incident aroused the nation because of its unusual horror. Your sister was dragged by car thieves for almost 2 miles in a very slow and painful death. Making this atrocity worse was the risk to the life of your niece, who did survive this horrible incident. The 2 people alleged to have been responsible for this crime have been apprehended. Not quite as tragic, but just as terrifying was a Mitch Sherman's incident, who was a victim from Maryland. You had a carjacking happen to you the day after Pam, this tragedy occurred. What happened, Mitch?
Phil, it was the day after, and I live approximately 3 miles from Pamela Basu. I was leaving work at about 10 after 5. I went to a gas station on the way home. It was a self-service gas. I went to pump the gas in the car, and 2, I call terrorists, came up to me with a gun and told me to give the keys, which I did. At that point, they said, "Give me your money," which I complied. At that point, they told me to turn around, keep on walking, and don't look back. And at that point, I left the scene, called the police, and my car was gone. My money was gone, and everything I had in the car was also gone, including my house keys.
Your car was subsequently used in 2 robberies, wasn't it?
2 robberies.
And what was the condition of the car when you found it?
It was dented in the front, and it had some minor body damage to the car.
You behaved exactly as police would tell you we should. Don't resist.
Exactly.
Give them the car and separate yourself from the incident. Clarence Bonner, similar story. Van Nuys, California, you felt a gun in your back, so?
That's correct. I was leaving a friend's house.
Pardon me, Mitch, you were driving what kind of car?
It was a 91 Nissan Maxima.
And what were you driving, Clarence?
A 90 Nissan Z.
And what'd you get? Had you gotten in the car?
No, I was about 20 feet from the car. I disengaged my 2 car alarms on it and walked to the car, opened the door, and just as I got 1 foot into the door, a gun was shoved into my back, and keys were, or should I say, a request for my keys were made at that time.
We have some videotape of the condition of your car after it was finally recovered. What, did anybody say anything to you?
Yes,
Look at this. What'd they do to it?
They stripped it and they burned it.
What did the gunman say?
Well, he used a couple of expletives, I won't say, but basically he requested my keys, and I kind of hesitated for a minute, and at that moment when I heard the gun engage, I thought it best that I not become a recalcitrant victim, and went on and gave him the keys.
This is what would be described as a low crime area, Van Nuys, California, isn't it?
Yes, it is. However, this particular area that I was in was known for this type of crime, which I didn't know. I hadn't been out there in about 5 years, and this type of crime was on the rise.
Aaron Garnett joins us with his wife, Roberta. This is grim. You lost your only son, Aaron Jr., at age 24. He was driving a 1987 Acura Legend. You are not as fortunate as Mr. Sherman and Mr. Bonner. You join the loved ones of Pamela Basu, who lost her life in Maryland. The incident with your son happened in?
Cambria Heights, Jamaica, Cambria Heights, Queens.
Queens. What happened,
Phil,
Mr. Garnett?
I want to thank the Master, Almighty Master, for being here, and I want to give the sympathy to everybody. Thank everybody for giving me support. My son Aaron Jr. was a boy that I think every parent would like to have. He was a good kid. I'm not here to tell his life story, but the way they murdered my son over a piece of machinery. From what I gather, he was on the phone, he jumped into the car.
Now, let me stop you here, Dad. I want to make sure they understand what happened here. Your beautiful 24-year-old son owned a 1987 Acura Legend.
Right.
He's on the phone with his girlfriend, I believe, in a gas station.
No, he wasn't on it. Yeah, he was. Okay. All right. I don't know what's the girl.
All right. He's talking. Yeah. It's not important.
Right.
And he looks, and there's a guy trying to get in his car.
Yes, sir. Right.
So like all 24-year-old guys, he makes his, wait a minute.
Right.
He pulls the guy out of the car.
Beat the hell out of him. And here come Clint Eastwood or the Terminator with 357 Magnum.
He gets, your son is in the car and starting to drive away.
Yes. Right in the middle, Phil. Can I just show you a picture? Maybe everybody should see this picture. She haven't saw it, but maybe everybody should see this here picture. And then use this picture of your son or your daughter in that car or in that seat.
Yeah, you see the bullet.
Senseless. Don't make any kind of sense. Shot him down
a single
like
bullet pierced his chest, and he was dead shortly thereafter for a 1987 Acura Legend. This happened in the borough of Queens.
For what?
In New York City.
This is the way we gotta live? We gotta live like this? I mean, somebody better wake up. I mean, everybody, I'm scared. I got to look over my shoulder now. We got to, folks, if somebody don't wake up and do something, they're gonna start coming into your house and do what they want to do and leave when they get ready. They're dragging us out of our cars. You mean tell me I work all my life and go out here and buy me a car, take $20,000, $30,000 for a son of a gun to come here and drag me out of it, or drag my wife, or drag you or your daughter or your son out? We got to live like this.
Mm-hmm. Here, just as outraged is the President of the United States, who was moved to say this on this very matter.
Crazy world.
Let me click off about 8 key points here. First, apprehend and severely punish these carjackers like the ones I just described. I want to make carjacking a federal offense with harsh penalties, and I want thugs who take cars at gunpoints to stay in a cell so long that when they get out, they're too old to drive.
On the satellite from Washington, D.C. is Congressman Charles Schumer, who's a Democrat from New York. He has a bill that obtains to this very matter, which is going to the floor of the House very shortly. We'll have him detail the items in this bill and speak with Tom Hahn, who there are suggestions, for example, in car theft that all the parts of a car be marked with a serial number, not unlike your fingerprint identifies your whole body, so parts of a car should be similarly marked so that the market for chopping cars down and selling the parts would not be quite as attractive. And we say once again, we've heard so many times about the increasing amounts of violent incidents within the inner city, and that is true and should be condemned by us all. You should also know that the issue of carjacking is not exclusive to downtown major metropolitan America. This has come to the suburbs as the voice of Pamela Basu's sister attests, and Aaron Garnett and his wife Roberta join us very shortly after the death of their son.
Phil.
To wonder a piece of machinery. You're going to blow somebody away. I'm going to give you a chance uninterrupted to make your point, Roberta, in just a moment. We'll be back in just a moment.
This is one way to cut some fat from your family's diet. This is a whole new way. Introducing new Promise Ultra, the spread that's the absolute lowest in fat of any leading brand. That's right. Promise Ultra is the lowest in fat. Plus, it has 65% fewer calories than margarine and a light, delicate taste. So cut some fat from your family's diet a whole new way with Promise Ultra. Get heart smart.
Life before the Regina housekeeper was so simple, Dirt and I could hide anywhere. Those days are gone now. I've never seen such a powerful vacuum. The Regina housekeeper can go anywhere I can go. That's it. Mom, it's either me or the Regina. I guess Mom doesn't like ultimatums.
Regina, powerful enough to clean up after Pigpen.
You'll flip over the thousands of incredible name brand values you'll find during the rockin'est, rollin'est good old day sale ever at Value City. Men's Kodiak guide boots featuring 3M Thinsulate, not $40. They're an incredible value, only $19.99. Save 55% on women's Day-Next leather boots, not $42, only $19.99. And don't miss this great selection of women's dress pumps, not $17. Take your choice, only $9.99 during the good old days sale at all Value City department stores.
That's my little brother. I'm still in college with a couple of years to go. He studied electronics at ITT Technical Institute and he's already working for a good company. While I'm studying the past, he's working on the future.
You can work on your future by preparing for a career in electronics at ITT Tech.
Call ITT Technical Institute at 1-800-942-0088 for an informative brochure. That's 1-800-942-0088. Call now.
You wanted to say, Roberta.
I don't have to tell a parent, not one parent in this world, how it feels to lose a son, especially one that you're close to, that you rely on, that means so much to you. That's one thing I did find out, that not just women, but men understand that pain. Yeah. One thing we as a society do not understand, though, is that it's not the next person. It's you. It's really you. Sure. It's happening to each of us. Yeah. I feel like Mrs. Magoo, I do, because I have walked around many times at night and alone, coming home from meetings, coming home from work. I'm a nurse. And when my house became like a workshop for people in Cambria Heights, for people who ever had the pain. I had to absorb so much pain, it almost killed me. Because
you mean
other people pain.
After you lost your son?
After I lost my son.
People came to you and said, wait till I tell you what happened to me.
Yes, that's what happened.
And you see this coming down on randomly on very loving, innocent families.
Innocent families.
Yeah.
So that we're in a position where we can say what happened to us, but I'm saying to you, you have to pay more than the usual attention, because this is not the person next door. And we have to stop this idiotic concern for color, for whatever, and start working together.
Yes, ma'am.
Because
Mr. Garnett, Pops.
You can call me Pops. Yeah, that's what he called me. I'm all in the license plates to put on my the car because that's what he always called me. Right?
You're the only pop he ever needed.
Yeah, right.
Didn't you tell him, don't become your car? What did you say to him? Didn't you make it clear you wanted him not to It's nice to have a car, but don't make that. Do I understand that?
Yeah, I told him don't love the car. He never did. Told him be like me, keep it clean, but don't love it. Like some people love their cars. Some people put their cars before their wife, their baby, and everybody else. I'm not like that. Cars was my hobby ever since I was a kid.
Yes.
My heart goes out to that couple that lost that 24-year-old son. I agree with you. But I think when the president decides what to do with these people, he should make up a committee of victims such as you people to sit down and decide what to be done with these people.
Congressman Charles Schumer joins us on the satellite from Washington. You've listened in on this very, very painful dialogue, Congressman. What is it that your bill suggests, and what is its status in the House?
Well, the bill would do a number of things, Phil, but the two most important: first, it would make carjacking a federal crime. As was mentioned at the beginning of the show, the incidents that these families had to endure, unfortunately, are not isolated. Carjacking is dramatically on the increase, and that's because the thieves find it easy to steal the car, and many of them are not caught. So that's the number one thing it would do. It would bring the federal government in, the FBI, because this has become a national crisis. The second thing that it would do, and major thing, and the thing that has stalled it in Washington, I hate to say it, is it would mark the parts of every car. Right now, most cars are stolen because of their parts. They strip the car and they sell their parts. Right. Well, if you marked each part with its own indelible number and required the auto repair shop, before it put a new part on a car, to check that number and make sure that it didn't come from a stolen car, it's estimated that car thievery would go down 25–30%. To answer your question about the status of the bill, unfortunately, I have had to struggle like the dickens. I introduced this bill about 8 months ago, before a lot of the publicity about car thieves and carjacking occurred. And lo and behold, who opposed the bill but the big three auto companies? They went after the bill because they said the parts marking would cost them too much money, $5, $6 a car. And I had to fight and struggle and struggle. To this very moment, we saw President Bush on television. His administration hasn't supported our bill. And so it will be by dint of a lot of hard work, and unfortunately because of the terrible tragedies like the Basu tragedy and the Garnett family. I sat with the Garnett family Sunday, and as a father, I know exactly how they feel. But because of those tragedies, now we will get the bill on the floor. In fact, it should come to the floor of the House on Saturday. Whether it will actually pass the Senate remains unknown. And if you want to know why people are fed up with Washington, Phil, this is the reason. That the automakers, because they're concerned about the $5, $6, $7 a car, have stood in the way of this bill, that most of the, many, not most, but many of the politicians, because of the power of the big three automakers, have tried to get in the way of the bill. And a bill that I thought would pass right at the beginning. I researched the bill. It has the support of all of major law enforcement. It has the support of the Automobile Club of America. It has the support of all the consumer groups. I thought it would just sail through Congress, and I'm struggling here in the last days of Congress to get it passed.
Well,
on
we
the
will.
President's desk.
Yes. Well, you've certainly set up the challenge for Tom Hanna, who's president of the Motor Vehicle Manufacturers Association, who will, in a moment, with respectful bow to the congressman, tell us why his association is against your bill. And we'll be back in just a moment.
Cancer Day is an important tradition at Scott's. And on Wednesday, October 7th, 5% of all sales at all Scott's stores will be donated to your American Cancer Society.
More good reasons to shop Scott's. Save on fresh boneless chicken breast, just $1.99 a pound. All varieties of Edie's ice cream. 2 half-gallon cartons are just $5 with coupon.
At Scott's Foods, we're committed to quality, price, service, and to wiping out cancer in your lifetime.
My job is to drive this race car fast. At the speeds I travel, I can't afford to wear glasses that slide down my nose. I go to LensCrafters because they have so many ways to make glasses fit better like silicone nose pads that keep my glasses from slipping. And their exclusive featherweights are the lightest glasses I've ever worn. As a race car driver, my life depends on the choices I make. That's why for a perfect fit, I choose LensCrafters. Better fit for greater comfort in about an hour.
What do you care about most when it comes to your hair?
I guess someone that listens and does what I say to do. Very picky about my hair.
Someone who gets to know me.
It's gotta be cool. Convenience. I like everyone done at once.
Great cut for great price.
We Care Hair. What we care about most is you.
He could be the boy next door, even your own child. Junior high and high school students are using drugs and alcohol in record numbers. More juveniles are being charged with serious crimes. Is there anything we can do to help? I'm Keith Edwards. Join me for a special presentation, Inside Out, Seeds of Hope. We'll introduce you to some local teens with problems and have counselors here to answer your questions. So be sure to tune in to Inside Out, Seeds of Hope, brought to you by these companies who care, tonight at 7 on 21 Alive.
To be part of the audience, please send a postcard to Donahue Tickets, care of NBC, 30 Rockefeller Plaza, New York, New York, 10112. Remember, postcards only, please.
Almost the point now. Everybody's got the coat on the car and the thing and the whoop, 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 whoop. So they don't get your car.
That don't mean nothing, Phil.
They wait for you now. You come to the car, disengage the auto, the alarm, get in, and I got you. Give me your car. Carjacking. What's wrong with Congressman Schumer's bill? Tom Hanna, President of Motor Vehicle Manufacturers Association. Sir.
Well, we haven't opposed his bill in its entirety. There are problems with it that we've expressed to the congressman. You know, we're talking about parts marking here like it's something new. It isn't. You know, we already had a law passed in 1984. Car manufacturers are now marking all of these crash parts, or most of them, on about 3.5 million cars a year, have for years. And there is no evidence that it has affected the theft of automobiles.
Right.
None.
Just take a city boy to school here. The chassis has a serial number, does it not?
It does.
And the block of the engine has a serial number.
It does.
What else has a serial number?
You put it on the engine, transmission, you can see it through the windshield, and there are a couple of other spots I'm not going to tell you where.
But just so, all right, just so I want to understand this, I don't mean to interrupt you, but as I understand it, chop shops steal cars and chop down the parts because the parts sold separately, even in the black market, are worth more than the car totally assembled.
They take them apart and they take those parts. Yeah, but now wait a minute. Now just hold the phone.
All right, I just want to set up the problem. And right now, if you chop the car down, you can sell the carburetor, you can sell all these goody parts, these fuel injection, all this stuff. There's no serial number on it, so there's no way for the wholesaler or the middleman to know that they've been stolen. Congressman Schumer wants everything marked, not unlike a fingerprint.
No, he doesn't want everything marked. He wants 23 parts rather than the 14 that are marked now.
No.
And I'm telling you that there are parts marked out in there. Now, wait a minute. I know what the bill says.
So you're entitled.
And I'm telling you that there is absolutely no evidence that marking those parts does. In fact, look, I've talked to the police in the city of Detroit. They've got some experience with this thing, and we say, who does these horrendous things we have heard about here? Most of them are in the context of some other illicit activity. They are people out joyriding. Marking 2 or 3 more parts is not going to change the motive in doing the horrible things these things do. And it seems to me that at some point in this, it does some public good to introduce some fact into this. And what I am suggesting to you, that you may be misleading people with the idea that marking everything is going to change this.
Mr.
We
Hanna.
are not talking about shutting off parts marking. Millions and millions of cars are going to continue to be marked.
Let me say this. I mean, first, speaking about getting all the facts out, you have left out the major part of the bill, which hasn't been in existence, which is not that some parts are marked. Under your bill in '84, some parts were marked, and again, you were forced into it. But rather that every auto repair shop, right now they can get a marked part, they can know it comes from a stolen car, and they can sell it to you for $800 and get the markup. Under my bill, every auto repair shop could not look the other way and go, hear no evil, see no evil, do no evil. They'd have to call an 800 number in Washington, read the number of the part, and if it came from a stolen car, they couldn't use it on pain of losing their license, on pain of being thrown out of the auto repair business. And Mr. Hanna, when you don't state that part of the bill, which is the heart of the bill, it's not the number of parts that are marked, but rather that the auto repair shops would be forced not to use those parts. You are misstating. Let's get all the facts on the table.
If I may say this, I guarantee you that auto repair shop is going to call an 800 number to determine whether my credit card is any good. So why not one more check to determine whether the part is not
We fully support all of those portions of the legislation introduced by Senator Schumer that would require this act he's talking about. We have indeed.
I have right on my table the sheet from Mr. Hanna's organization opposing that part of the bill.
That's not correct.
Yes. They do not support, well, if you support parts marking, then I hope you'll tell your allies in Congress to stop delaying and blockading our bill.
We said we support the parts marking as being done now. What you were talking about a moment ago was the reporting requirement.
About getting it to the auto repair shops. Let me tell you one other thing, Phil, which I found interesting if we're going to lay all the facts out here on the table. When the auto manufacturers first came in and we had a meeting about this bill, they said it was the cost, that the cost of $5 or $6 or $7 a car, which it truly would cost to do it, would stand in their way.
Clock is ticking, Congressman. I want you in, but we've got lots of hands in the air here. Make your point, please.
Okay, let him make his point. Is when I came back to them initially and said, well, if someone else pays for it, like the insurance industry, because they know how bad stolen cars are, and it would reduce auto insurance rates by a lot, they still were against the bill. Now that the bill is beginning to move, and that Speaker Foley has said it should come to the floor, they're saying, well, maybe if someone else pays, we'll go for the bill.
Yes.
But let me tell you, they've been in the way every step of the way.
May we respond? Our response was, this was a suggestion made by the congressman. When I testified before his committee, I said, if this would actually solve a problem, the cost is not a significant thing. Car makers are doing things now that cost a lot more than this parts marking because those things work.
Don't we have to say, however...
Phil, just one more point. Why don't we rely on law enforcement to determine whether it would solve the problem? Every major law enforcement group supports this bill because they say it would go a long way in solving the problem.
I have to say, however,
GM about stolen cars.
I don't think that parts marking would have saved Aaron Garnett, the Garnett son. This is not to suggest your bill is not a good idea. I'm pleased to have the debate happen here. Here we have the real tragedy of somebody in love, adoring material things, including flashy cars, and ordering their 24-year-old son out of the car. He gets in a scuffle. He gets back in the car that belongs to him, and he starts to drive away, and he takes a bullet in the chest. Clarence Bonner was luckier. He survived, as did Mitch Sherman. I bet you won't own a flashy car anymore for as long as you live.
Never again. Never again.
You're going to have what, a brown?
Hugo.
Hugo. I'll give you a chance. Okay. We'll be back in just a moment.
Oh, look, now we can't come here anymore.
The plan's been sold. Remember, 20 years ago, we discovered this place?
How could I forget?
Beautiful today is the day I proposed.
She takes care of herself, and she takes Geritol Complete. All the vitamins you need, plus more beta-carotene than any other multivitamin.
I'll miss coming here. This was our private place.
Still is.
You bought it.
Geritol Complete, for the best years of your life.
Alpha Hydrox Skin Treatment, without the irritating side effects of certain expensive skin products. Alpha Hydrox gently removes dead and dulling skin. Alpha hydroxy acids, recognized by dermatologists for their anti-aging effect, appear to diminish wrinkles and skin discolorations, revitalizing your skin, revealing a younger, more radiant-looking you. Alpha Hydrox is available at drug, discount, and grocery stores. Alpha Hydrox, the triumph of nature over time.
deadbolt. I'd just smash the door in.
I could pick most locks with a credit card.
I know when you're home and when you're not.
This is the ADT SafeWatch Plus home security system.
They were asleep. They didn't even know we was in the house.
It links your home to an ADT monitoring center where trained security professionals help monitor your home 24 hours a day.
If I had a family, I want to protect them from guys like me.
When trouble strikes, ADT can take action.
Tell the police there's a break-in.
ADT helps protect your family and home against break-ins and helps with medical emergencies and fires. Call 1-800-ADT-INFO for affordable security for your home. Only $195 installed and $19.95 for monthly monitoring.
The house with an alarm system you skip. The others you go for.
Call 1-800-ADT-INFO. You don't want to confront trouble face-to-face.
Compulsive eating is a real disease, and it can make you a prisoner. If you or a loved one have a food addiction problem, call the National Food Addiction Hotline at 1-800-USA-0088.
They're Ku Klux Klan members, and they say they're being discriminated against. On the next Sally Jesse Raphael.
Sally Jesse Raphael, Monday at 10 on 21 Alive.
Janet Sproat, one of Fort Wayne's own, talks about her memories of a murder on the next Mark.
Monday at 11 on 21 Alive.
Yes, ma'am.
I just have to say that I don't think what you're talking about is going to stop it. I think what they need is a gun control law, and they need to string these guys up by their nails, and they should not be allowed to stay in jail and to be fed. They could get killed.
I think they need to make an example of that one person, then everyone's eyes will open up.
Yes. I call your attention. You can string up people, throw them in jail, but you're running out of jail cells.
So, Phil, you know what you do? They take them, clean them out, put them on the desert or in the woods, give them a couple of trees, and call to let them shoot themselves and drag themselves out of their cars.
Yes. This young woman, please.
The bottom line here is that hungry people steal bread. We've got riots in L.A., warfare on the streets, and we should be looking at our administration and what's happening with our economy.
Yeah, it's hard to get people to focus on that,
How about having a roll call in Congress when the bill comes up, Congressman, and find out who is behind the special interest groups here, and let's vote them out.
Well, we have a Lawrence Sherman, a criminologist from the University of Maryland, who is likewise not in total support of Congressman Schumer's bill. You better be good. You've got a very hostile audience right here. Here's your mic.
Well, bringing the FBI in can help in some cases where the jurisdiction can't solve it, but President Bush could do that with a stroke of a pen by an executive order. We don't need a bill to do that. And the carjacking is not clearly related to the stolen parts issue. What may be more important is to test this new technology of electronic monitoring of the location of a car, sending a radio transmission. The LA police are starting to do that. Northern Virginia police are starting to test.
So if you steal the car, beep, 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 you can follow, you can find this.
They can find it. And what we need is a national research and development program to figure out how to make cars harder to steal safely for these people. We got to focus on what to do about the crime and not the criminal. And of course, the fundamental way to stop these crimes is to pass a bill in Congress to get these guns off the street.
Thank you. Please. Yes, Rich, you've been very...
You know what? I've been terrorized, and these people are terrorists, is what they really are.
It has to be terrorizing.
I don't want to be intimidated by them and not to buy the car that I want. And I feel I've been intimidated by these people, and I'm really angry about it, and they need to do
must
something.
The Automobile Manufacturers Association be. If they don't do so, if we don't do something about this, we may all be more interested in Yugos than in BMWs. No small consideration. The marketing influences do obtain here. You wanted to say. Yes, ma'am. Incidentally, I want to show you the cities with the highest rate of stolen cars. Do you know what's the highest rate? Newark. Oh, you people are smarter than I can. Yeah.
The one thing that bothers me is self-service gas stations and ATMs. They are not well lighted. You get out to use the telephone.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, was there a light near? Were there any people near? I mean, you know, all of these things.
This was an illuminated station from which he made the call.
Somebody knew about it. Somebody knows Somebody knows something about my son's death. Somebody
You're
down
certain there were eyewitnesses that have not come forward?
Of course.
Yeah.
It's like Broadway and Harlem at night up over there now.
You have to get out of your car to pump the gas, and I pull up at a service station driving, say, a Mercedes or a Saab, and I get out and put gas in it, and you know, even
you're a sitting duck.
You're next.
Yeah. You know, I'm telling you, you know, the day's going to come when you're going to walk in the butcher shop, and there's going to be a guy there just hand you the axe.
But you know, Phil.
I mean, we are. Nobody works in service places anymore.
Phil, you know.
All you do is get. Yes, ma'am. You wanted to say, Mrs. Bonner.
We do owe
Mrs.
the
Garnett.
police department a real thank you. They have had fellow feeling. In fact, a lot of people are angry with the police, and I'm not saying they should not be. In our case, they have tried very hard. They have more fellow feeling than some of our neighbors, because if you know, if you saw, you owe me. You tell who did this to my son.
Yeah. You're saying you are impressed with the empathetic, professional attention you received from the New York City Police Department.
They're putting out a reward for who might have evidence leading to it. But, and they said they would come to my home so I wouldn't have to be shocked by seeing these posters ahead of time. That's not the only thing that they did do.
Yes.
But they
I'm putting
don't
out
have
my own reward, too, also.
Right. Well, let me say this, a small compensation. You have lost your one and only son. And you are going, this is a life-altering experience. Nothing we say is going to make you feel better. But a nice word about the New York Police Department was a long time in coming, and I am so sure that it is much appreciated. And we'll be back in just a moment.
The practice of law, it's their life. When they take a case, they give it all they've got. Their far-reaching reputation as trial lawyers is because they've been representing injured people in northeastern Indiana for more than 30 years. If you've been hurt, there is no case bigger than yours. And not just any law firm will do. The Lebemoff Law Offices, making the law work for you every day. Call 423-2581.
When you need custom-sized window blinds, shades, and draperies, come to Fort Wayne's Alamo Blinds for substantial factory direct savings. And right now, all our in-stock wallpapers have been marked down an additional 20%. Prices as low as $5.95 per roll. At Alamo, you'll find hundreds of in-stock wallpapers and special order catalogs, DeVoe paints, bedspreads, comforters, draperies, and best of all, trained decorators to help you put everything together at prices you simply will not believe. Buy them where they're made. Alamo Blinds on Sherman, a block south of the Fort Wayne Zoo.
When Jeffrey catches a cold, we see the pediatrician.
I love my pediatrician. He's my dad.
He recommends Dimetap Elixir.
Doctors have recommended the Dimetap brand over 200 million times. It relieves sneezing, nasal congestion, runny noses.
And Jeffrey really likes the great taste.
Doctors recommend Dimetap for their families and yours. Now get the great taste of Dimetap Elixir in new Dimetap chewable tablets.
It's every homeowner's worst nightmare, the sight of flames, the sound of all your worldly possessions going up in smoke, and sometimes the feeling of grief when fire takes the life of a loved one. But you can prevent tragedy by investing a few dollars and learning fire safety tips. This is Richard Pyatt. Monday on Liveline, we take your calls about Fire Prevention Week. It's an annual effort designed to keep you alive. Ask firefighters what you can do to keep flames from burning you. Fire Prevention, Monday on Liveline.
To be part of the audience, please send a postcard to Donahue Tickets, care of NBC, 30 Rockefeller Plaza, New York, New York, 10112. Remember, postcards only, please.
The cities with the highest rate of stolen cars are as follows. 5 are in New Jersey. What is this? Newark, Lawrence, Mass., Irvington, New Jersey, Huntington Park, California, Bridgeport, Connecticut, Camden, New Jersey, East Orange, New Jersey, Detroit, Elizabeth, New Jersey, and Atlanta. What happened to New York? We're such, you know, I thought we let in everything negative.
No, they didn't put the killers up there.
I'll tell you what, this isn't funny. And we should also make this point. It isn't just about BMWs and XLZ, you know. It's about
Nissan Maxima.
Cavaliers. It's about what?
Anything.
Is that?
Yeah,
you agree?
Yeah, it's pretty much.
The congressman wanted to make what point, Congressman Schumer?
Yeah, Phil, I would say just this, that the parts marking, the reason that parts marking is so important in this is now more and more criminals are stealing cars for their parts, and they like to auto-jack them because they don't have to, they get the keys with the car, they don't have to break the windows, they don't have to break the steering column. As you said, they don't have to get into alarm devices. So the police that throughout the country and the FBI are finding more and more links between the people who carjack and the people who chop the cars up for parts. It's not going to solve everything. Maybe it wouldn't have brought back Mr. Garnett's son to life, but it will save lives without a certainty. And I'll bet if you asked your audience how many people would pay the $5 or $6 a car to reduce the chances of their cars being stolen and carjacked, almost everybody would say yes.
May I have
Even
the floor?
realizing it's not a panacea. It's not going to solve everything.
A lot of thoughtful people in our audience want in here, and we should have done it sooner.
My car was stolen a couple of times. The second time my car was stolen, there were 4 youths who stole the car. They were in a car chase on one of the main avenues in my town, and I live in New Jersey. I was, as I see all those names up there. But anyway, the 4 youths were in a car chase on a main avenue, and they crashed. One of the minors were killed.
Oh.
But my point is that they were all minors. What is this bill going to do for minors, not
Good
just
point.
people who are of age?
The bill makes some people in the audience asked about tougher penalties. It's not just on marking the parts, because that's not going to solve the whole thing. But it does certainly make much tougher penalties for carjackers, and it encourages the states to have tougher penalties for youth who steal cars. Also, one other point. Getting rid of the guns, the 2 people who mentioned that, they're right on the money. That would probably be the #1 thing we could do about carjacking.
Congressman, with lots of...
We got an NRA to deal with in Congress. I'm the lead pusher of the Brady bill as head of the crime committee.
Right.
And right now, it's stalled.
Right.
The public, 90% wants it. Washington isn't moving.
May I ask you, please let me remind you that several hands are in the air. I do have this question for you, Congressman. What about foreign cars? Are they going to be marked too? And how does this law...
Every car sold in America would be marked foreign or domestic.
Over here.
What does the bill do about gun control? And most people are...
He just made the point. The Brady bill languishes while 90% of the people support it. The Brady bill's major provision would be, how much is the waiting period?
5 working days.
5 working days, and they're having a hard time getting that.
Even that.
Yeah.
You said the American corporations, car companies have gone against this.
Right.
What have the foreign companies done? What is their response?
The foreign companies are letting the American companies take the lead on this for them, but we've gotten no support from them either.
I feel, Mr. Hahn, would you like to make any comment here? You are against the bill, and...
excuse me, let me just stop you right there. I'm not opposed to the bill.
You are opposed to certainly part marking, are you not?
No, I keep reminding you we're marking parts on 3.5 million cars right now, and we're going to continue to do that, and we'll mark more. And I'm just suggesting to you that it is silly to say that it is going to stop most of the kind of carjacking crimes that have been discussed here. And incidentally, the price, we're spending about $6 for the marking now. The Schumer bill would aggregate about another $250 million a year. That's another $15 a car. And I emphasize to you that if it would solve the problem, it would be worth it. But the car companies are spending more money on things like preventing the Slim Jims from going down, from tightening up the keys and ignition locks so that you can't bust them as easily, and these kinds of things that actually work.
Yes. Mr. Hanna, I'd make a plea to you on TV here. Since most of law enforcement, just about all of it, thinks this will do a lot of good, why not try it? Try the other things you're doing.
Yeah, I'll give you a chance. And we'll be back in just a moment.
You scum! I want you out of my life. Soap scum's disgusting. That's why I use X14 Soap Scum Remover. X14 is made to get rid of slimy soap scum without scrubbing. Try X14 Soap Scum Remover.
How does spring rain feel?
Like the world is fresh and brand new.
Introducing Spring Rain Freshness, Massengill's crystal clear douche that washes away odor completely.
Trust Massengill to make you feel this fresh and clean.
In this country, from the beginning, good bread has always been appreciated. Flour from a nearby mill and other wholesome ingredients were carefully worked by hand and baked to perfection on the old country hearth. The tradition remains. We're baking country hearth bread with all the aroma and taste of times gone by. A bread that helps deliver your family's nutritional needs. A little bit of heritage in every loaf. Lots of enjoyment in every slice. Country Hearth.
Putting all the magic and fun together for you. There's nowhere else they can see their best friends on stage. And there's nothing like Sesame Street Live.
The weather is starting to change, and that means Old Man Winter will be here soon. Hi, I'm Jay Walker. We at 21 Alive, the Civitan Club, and our young friends want every child to stay healthy and warm this winter. But we need your help. Give Coats for Kids. During October, drop off kids' coats, new or used, at any of the Swiss or Betty Bright cleaners in town. The coats will be cleaned, then distributed to needy children before the freezing temperatures arrive. So give a kid's coat and warm up a kid's winter.
Well, the only thing I want to say is we need to change our value system. I think we need to less on material things and more on God and family. Yeah.
I agree. I think that they have today people have healthier bodies than hearts. I really do.
Yeah, we're jogging, but we're not. You know how parents, you're terrified to send your kid to school. Listen to this now. We got this now for adults. I mean, this is a reflection of America as we find it today. Carjacking safety tips. Here we go. Do it quickly. Avoid parking in secluded area. Keep doors locked and windows rolled up while driving, especially when stopped in traffic. I mean, this is not far from don't ever take candy from a stranger. When approaching red light or stop sign, please leave space between your car and vehicle in front. If someone demands your keys, don't resist. Don't leave registration in your car. The house key should be separate from your car key. Sharon, your brother, you lost your brother, Aaron Jr., to a carjacker, and your parents have just shared this very painful story with our audience. You wanted to say, Sharon.
I just want to say, me and my family, my brother was very special. We loved him very much. And I feel that anything that can be done to stop what is happening with the carjacking, whether it's the congressman that's trying to help, I think we should all give him support, everyone.
Yes,
because
I do too.
like it happened to us, it could happen to anyone.
Yes. Lawrence Sherman, thank you, Sharon. You are our criminologist. You want to make the point that the tighter you lock your car, the more alarms you put on. You put that big red handle on the thing that says, get out of here, you'll never steal this car. You set yourself up for what?
Well, the harder it gets to steal a car when nobody's in it, the more cars get stolen when they're occupied because there's so many guns in this country.
So we should just what? Let the people have our car? And, I mean, what's the consequence of that?
We've got to take the guns away because when they did it in England and Germany, total car theft went down. Here, the car robberies are going up. But we've got to look at these new systems of electronic monitoring and also recognize the fact that there are cars being shipped out of the country. Yes, and we've got to inspect these things at the dock to keep them from being shipped without any break-ins, because that's the other incentive to steal a car with somebody in it.
That's in our bill.
Phil, on my car, I had 3 car alarms. I don't know what else I could do. They just sit there.
And all of a sudden you wound up with a gun in your back.
They just wait till you take the padlocks off the car and then they stick the gun and you take the thing.
I don't know what the ramifications are, but this morning I heard that New Jersey just passed a law for carjacking.
They did. Well, I'm not surprised. Yes.
The only problem I have,
please?
Yes, is that every time they do come out with a new security system, the media tells the thieves how to go past the system.
You know what? They do?
Yes.
Yes, briefly, please.
Yeah, all this sounds like rhetoric that I hope I don't have a beard before it comes to fruition. We have to learn how to live defensively. We were taught to drive defensively. We have to, unfortunately, that's the story.
And I'll let you chance. Hang on a minute. Pops, we'll be back in just a moment.
Come down to?
More paste pecani sauce.
Here you go.
This ain't paste.
So what?
paces me with fresh vegetables and spices.
By folks in San Antonio.
Who know what pecan sauce should taste like.
This stuff's made in New York City.
New York City?
Pick up the original. Pick up the pace.
I think it's time we took separate vacations.
Whether you're remodeling or building your dream home, step into one of Tri-State's 4 showrooms and step into Kohler Luxury with the most complete selection of Kohler bath and kitchen fixtures in the area. At Tri-State, they offer the best in plumbing fixtures. 40 years of service and satisfaction, along with the Kohler guarantee of the finest plumbing fixtures, await you at Tri-State. Visit one of Tri-State's showrooms today in Fort Wayne at the corner of Taylor and Broadway. Also in Angola, Auburn, and Bryan, Ohio. Open Wednesday evenings until 8, Saturdays from 8 till noon. Tri-State, where quality products are found.
The Olive Garden's new Roman pasta holiday celebration will have everyone speaking fluent Italian. See for yourself when you taste our generous portions of ravioli and tonello, chicken and artichoke mostaccioli, spaghetti carbonara, and our emperor-sized Roman holiday platter. So come celebrate our Roman pasta holiday, where for just a few lira, you too can learn to speak a little Italian.
How has safe sex affected your love life?
I did ask him if he was gay. Had he ever been